Okay, so let's continue with our Python coding exercise series. So open the leetcode.com and go to the problems tab. And if you scroll down in the search bar, search question number 1431. So you will find this question 1431, kids with the greatest number of candies. And it is easy question. So just click on it. So let's read the question. There are n kids with candies, right? So you are given an integer array candies. So we have some arrays given, right? So if you see the function definition, so integer array, so and array means like list and it contains integer. So we have some arrays given, right? Where each candies of I represent the number of candies with the ith kid, which means so we have the array given, right? And it is mentioned like there are n kids with the candies. So they said candies of I, candies of I, candies of I means like candies of sorry. So if I just copy paste here, so it means candies of I. Candies of I means 2 or candies of 0, right? Candies of 0 is 2. Candies of 1 is equal to 3 and so on. And where I represent the kid. So it means or the 0 kid, kid number 0 has 2 candies. Kid 1 has 3 candies and so on. Kid 2 has 5 candies or you can consider as from like index 1. Right, so first kid has 2 candies, second kid has 3 candies, third kid has 5 candies, fourth kid has 1 candy, and fifth kid has 3 candies. Right, so we have this candies array is given, which is fine, and we have some integer is given extra candy. So you could see one extra candies is given, that is an integer denoting the number of extra candies you have. So as an example, you have the 5 children, and there are some candies with all the children. So child one has 2 candy, child two has 3 candy, child three has 5 candies, right? And you have some spare candies, extra candies, which you have not given to any child or any kid. So this is the spare candies. Return a Boolean array result. So we need to return a array. So if you see this function signature, you need to return a list array, and it is a Boolean array. So that contains the bool, right? So you return a Boolean array result of length n, right? Where result of I is true if after giving the ith kid all the extra candies, they will have the greatest number of candies among all the kids. Else returns false, right? So as an example, so they said we have these candies like 2, 3, 5, 1, 3, and we have some extra candies. So they said if we give the ith kid, I can be anything like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we give all the extra candies to the particular kid, can let's suppose if I give uh, this extra candies to the kid one. So the kid one has earlier 2 candies, now it has 5 candies, right? So can now the kid one has candies greater than the remaining kids? So the answer is yes, right? So it means for first it's true. So so let's go to the whiteboard, which will be easy. So we have the candies given 2, 3, 5, 1, 3. You have the extra candies 3. So they said we need to return some array, Boolean array, and Boolean means like true and false. But when it will be true, when it will be false, that is the main thing. So they said you can try giving extra candies to all the kids. So as an example, so let's give all extra candies to first kid. So if I give 3 candies to first kid, so first kid now has 5 candies, and the remaining kid has the same similar candies like 3, 5, 1, 3. But now can the first kid has the greatest number of candies? So answer is yes. So 5 is greater than 3, 5 is greater than or equal to 5, 5 is greater than 1, and 5 is greater than 3, which is for true. Now if we give these extra candies to child 2, so if we give 3 candies to child 2, then 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So first kid has still 2, then 5, 1, 3. Can this child has now the greatest number of candies among all the kids? So answer is yes. So 6 is greater than 2, 6 is greater than 5, 6 is greater than 1, 6 is greater than 3. So answer is 2. So now give extra candies 3 to child 3. So 5 plus 3 is 8. And so here it should be 2. Right. Here it should be 2. Right. So now the first kid has 2, second kid has 3. Now the third kid has 8 candies and then 1 3. So can the third kid now has the greatest number of candies among all the kids? So the answer is yes, because 8 is greater than 2, 8 is greater than 3, 8 is greater than 1, and 8 is greater than 3. So answer is 2. Now let's give this extra candies to child 4. So 3 plus 1, 4. Can this now child has the greatest number of candies among all the childs? So 4 is greater than 2, which is true. 4 is greater than 3, fine. But is 4 is greater than 5? No. So it means we are going to return false. Now let's give the extra candy to the last child. So 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So can now 6 is greater than, so now the last child has 6 candies. Is it greater than among all the child? Yes. So if you see 6 is greater than 2, 6 is greater than 3, 6 is greater than 5, 6 is greater than 1. So answer is true. So our array contains true, 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 false, true. Right. So this is like easy question. So let's try to do that. So we need one result array. Right. So you could see you need to return a Boolean array of result of length n. So let's take a some array result. Right. Now what you have to do? You have the extra candies. You will give this extra candies to first kid, right? And then second, then third, then fourth, then fifth. Basically, you need to run some loop over the candies. So let's run a loop for candy in candies. Right. So when I do 4 candies in candy, so I am first on the in the loop. I am on the first kid, right? First kid. Now what I have to do? I will give this extra candy to the first kid. So let's take a temporary variable and candy. Candy means 2 plus extra candy. Extra candies means whatever the, like in this case 3. So that is in the temp. Now what I need to check? So now I know in temp we have the 5. Now I need to check whether 5 is greater than all the remaining element. All the remaining element, which means whether 5 is greater than 3, 5 is greater than 5, 5 is greater than 1, 5 is greater than 3. So the one approach is I can again run a loop, because if I have to check 5 with remaining kids, one approach is I can run a loop, right? But if I run a loop, you could see it's a nested loop, unnecessary. We are creating an unnecessary loop. So here, if you just think a little bit more, you could see if I get the maximum of all the candies, if I get the maximum of all the candies, so as an example, if I get the maximum of all candies, so max candies, max of candies. All right. So now the maximum is 5, right? Maximum is 5. If I just check whether the temp is greater than the max candy, so whether the 5 is greater than the max candy is 5. If it is greater, then it means it is automatically greater than from the remaining elements, because we found the maximum and the remaining elements always like smaller, right? So if my temporary element, that's 5, is greater than the maximum element, which means this 5 definitely going to be greater than the remaining elements. So the same thing we have to do. So we will do if candy plus extra candy. So candy plus extra candy means like is 5 is greater than or equal to, because in this case they have mentioned like you have to check greatest, but here if you see the example, if we find, if we check 5 is greater than 5, then it is false. But if you see, we are getting true, right? So we are checking basically greater than or equal to. So if candy plus extra candy is greater than equal to max candies, if it is greater than, then it means we need to append true, right? Else we need to append false, right? So what we basically, and we need to return the result array. So what basically we did is instead of running one more for loop, you can definitely going to run one for loop, but there is no advantage because unnecessary. First you are checking with 3, then you are checking with 5. Then why can't I directly check with 5? Because if I check with 5, then definitely it's going to greater than 3, greater than 1, greater than 3. But how I can check directly with 5? So what I did is just fetch the maximum, and fetching the maximum is just like a inbuilt function, right? So which is written in the C. So it's the inbuilt function. So instead of running, and it is only just one time, right? So it is only one time. Instead of running for loop for all the candies. So as an example, first I run, if I have to run the nested log, then first I will compare 5 with the remaining. Then I will compare 6 with the remaining. Then I compare 8 with the remaining. Then I compare 4 with the, so unnecessary nested for loop. So just to avoid the nested for loop, what we did is we find the maximum of all the candies and we have run it. And we have just checked with the maximum. And if it is greater than the maximum, then it is going to be like true. Otherwise, it's going to be false. So let's try to run it. So our sample case has been accepted. So let's try to submit it. So our like solution has been accepted, and like the runtime is also like good. And basically don't go on this runtime in memory, because now you are seeing it's beating 92% of the user and beating 90% of the memory. But maybe if you are going to resubmit again, you will maybe see you are only runtime beating 50% of the people. So don't go with that, just go with your logic. That's it, right? So that's the end of the video, and it's easy question, but you can try, because definitely it's easy question. But uh, in the first scenario, what will come into the mind? Okay, let's run a nested for loop. You can definitely going to solve that, but that is not optimal approach, right? So this is one thing which we can learn in this video. Instead of checking with all the candies, let's fetch the maximum and just check with the maximum. And if it is greater than the maximum, then definitely it is going to be greater than the remaining candies. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the video. You can also try this question. Thank you.